Given how many people crossed the border for this weekend's baseball series, here comes Canada Day Part 2 in Seattle as the Blue Jays make their annual trip. And Game 1 will have Dylan Cease on the mound going up against Luis Castillo. So with the Friday focus, let's send it off to Dan Shulman and Joe Siddall.
Jamie, thank you. You're right. The Canadian invasion has made its presence felt here in the Pacific Northwest. And a guy, Joe, who has really made his presence felt recently, Nathan Lucas. What a tone setter he has been for this offense.
And not only a tone setter, but at the top of the lineup, what I love about Nathan Lucas is his contact ability. And it was on display on Wednesday against Freddie Peralta. He just continued to see pitch after pitch after pitch. That contact ability allows him to see the ball. He sees it deep. He can foul off those close pitches. He may not be walking necessarily as much as he wants, but he is going to work a starting pitcher. And at bat like this in the first inning that results in a base hit, it can help you get to the starting pitcher later in the game. And that's exactly what the Blue Jays did. So when you look at the top, what he does, the average, he's going to put balls in play. He is going to find holes. He's getting on base. He sees a lot of pitches. It's a bit more of an old school leadoff hitter approach, but Nathan Lucas fits the mold.
So he's in the leadoff spot tonight, and as Jamie mentioned, Dylan Cease is on the mound. And look at all those Blue Jay fans getting up close and personal with Cease as he gets ready to go in Game 1 of what is always an interesting series here in Seattle.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's the Friday Focus presented by McCain. Together is golden. And congratulations to Kazuma Okamoto, who was named the American League Rookie of the Month at the age of 30 years and 3 days. My, oh my. He hit 7 home runs and drove in 20 in June. And before we get to first pitch, I want to say to the folks in Saskatoon, 1 week from today, it's the Evan Thomas Memorial Tournament 15U AAA. Evan was a member of the 2018 Humboldt Broncos, lost his life at that time, and he was one heck of a baseball player. And I've been to that tournament. If you want to get out there in Saskatoon next weekend, I highly advise it. How can the Blue Jays find their rhythm? They're in a state of mediocrity right now, despite what you saw in Canada Day.
Win a bunch of games, and it's taking that momentum they just had in Canada Day and then going and playing essentially another home game. Get in there and use that energy. You've got to win, and it's no more excuses, no more time to really start pointing the finger or doing any of that stuff. You got to get up there and win and play complete, solid baseball. Good starting pitching, timely hitting, and play good defense. Look, effort then continues on, and when you give great effort, it starts to shift the vibe in that clubhouse. And I saw some really, really good effort on Canada Day that matched up with some big contributors up and down the lineup. Good starting pitching. That's how you do it. But winning is fun. And I don't care about taking your buddies out to dinner after. Like, beat them. Right. And taking numbers and taking names that's what you want to do. And so hopefully they can do that in Seattle.
You heard Dan and Joe talking about this. Nathan Lucas, you love him as a leadoff man, and you want him there the rest of the year. Explain why.
I do, because of what Joe just said. He's kind of an old school throwback. He gives you a professional AB. He isn't going to tire that pitcher out, and for me, it just makes the lineup flow better. I personally don't love one pitch, one out. Hey, man, what's he got in there? I don't know. I just saw one pitch. I love the fact that Lucas gets up there, and he's going to take what's given to him. He's never going to try and do too much, and it's almost like he knows when he's in that role, he's either going to get on base early or he's going to try and tire him out. And I love how that sets up potentially 27 in the 2-hole. Tire him out, get Vladdy a hanging slider, and let him start to roll. He is my guy at the top of the lineup. Plus, I like George Springer down that 5-6 hole, lurking for maybe a 3-run homer. I think it's what they should do. They get a free trial run right now with Springer being out on paternity list. I love Lucas at the top. It just fits.
Evan Thomas played for the Saskatoon Blue Jays. Tonight we get to see the Toronto Blue Jays in Seattle. What a time it is for Sean Keyes. First home run on Wednesday, and now he gets to experience what it's like to play as a Blue Jay in Seattle. This should be fun. Dylan Cease for the visitors. Luis Castillo as the rematch of the American League Championship Series from last October is upon us. Enjoy it, and we'll see you throughout.
Cars are cool.
Welcome to Rogers Friday Night Blue Jays Baseball, presented by McCain. A beautiful Friday night here in Seattle, and just a great vibe, a ton of energy in the ballpark, because it feels like it's about half Mariners fans and half Blue Jays fans. The Mariners fans are on the first base side of the field. The Blue Jays fans are on the third base side of the field. And as is always the case, it is very lively when these two teams get together here in Seattle. Folks have come from BC and Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba, all over the country to see their Blue Jays here. A look at the starting lineup tonight in the opening game of this series. We told you about Nathan Lucas. There he is up in the leadoff spot again. Kazuma Okamoto, who was just named American League Rookie of the Month, is hitting third, and Sean Keys will get another start. George Springer is still on paternity leave, away from the team right now. Keys, who homered on Canada Day, is batting eighth tonight with a very familiar face, veteran Luis Castillo on the mound.
The 33-year-old right-hander is now in his 10th big league season. He's been an all-star 3 times. He spent 6 years with the Cincinnati Reds before coming to the Mariners. The ERA just under 5 in his 16 games this year. 13 of those have been starts because Dan Wilson and the Mariners have been going with a 6-man rotation. At times, they've been using the piggyback method at times. Last time out, he allowed 1 run over 6 innings at Cleveland. Walked 1 and struck out 4, but the time before that, he came out of the bullpen after Bryce Miller in that piggyback method. Blue Jays will see a lot of sliders, but 4-seamers and 2-seamers from the right-hander. Defensively for the Mariners, Randy Arozarena gets the start in left field. Victor Robles in right after Julio Rodriguez was injured in last night's game. Luke Raley back out in right field. J.P. Crawford and Colt Emerson on the left side. Cole Young, Josh Naylor on the right side, and the former Gold Glover Cal Raleigh behind the plate for the Mariners.
Joe mentioned no Julio Rodriguez. He went on the concussion IL yesterday or today after the injury suffered last night. More on that a little bit later. But first, with the Mariners in their version of the City Connects in front of a very big crowd here in Seattle. Nathan Lucas is in the box. Paul Clemens is the home plate umpire. And this ball game is underway with strike 1. Lucas hitting .299, but against righties, he is hitting .343. Reaches for it and grounds it weakly out to second. Cole Young on to first for out number 1. As Joe mentioned, a 6-man rotation right now for the Mariners. Very unusual, but they've got 6 quality guys. Castillo pitching better. You saw the .493 ERA, but pitching better of late. And they will piggyback tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that later. The first here is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And the last time that Vladdy saw the Mariners, he was being named American League Championship Series MVP. Guerrero hit .385 with 3 homers in that thrilling 7-game series. Sends this one down the right field line. A long run for Josh Naylor. Cannot catch up to it in foul territory.
Great effort by Naylor running into foul territory. Glad he knew he hit it off the end of the bat. It was just a matter of how far it was going to go. Valiant effort by the Canadian. Mariners first baseman just coming up short.
Mississauga, Ontario native. So 1-1 on Guerrero. Went 1 for 4 with a double on Canada Day in the Blue Jays' last game. Takes it off the outside corner, ball 2. The 2 guys in your shot at home plate, Guerrero and Cal Raleigh, both having kind of mysterious seasons. Numbers way down. And if you think Guerrero's numbers are down from a year ago, that's nothing compared to how much Raleigh's numbers are down from a year ago. Guerrero's down about 150 points in OPS. Raleigh's down about 375. And there are other guys like that around the majors, but these are 2 of the most notable ones. 2-2's fouled off.
There is that sinker that he will run in on right-handers. He uses the 4-seam fastball and the sinker, throws a lot of fastballs. He used the slider more against the righties and the changeup that he got Nathan Lucas on against the lefties.
And he hit 97 with that pitch. We have seen him at times get by with like 93, 94, but throwing hard early. This is way down and away, and it's a full count. On deck, Kaz Okamoto hitting in the 3 spot tonight. just underway here on this Friday night to open up this weekend series. Guerrero fights off another one.
And that looks like a great pitch to hit. It's a fastball, just middle in, but when it's 96 and you have to honor that slider that he throws as well. A little bit tardy.
Guerrero 4 for 15 with a couple of doubles in his career against Castillo. And here goes Naylor again, and he's not going to get to this one either.
Josh is getting the sprint work in early tonight. He's going to tell Vlad he did it fair.
I was going to say he might have something to say to the other first baseman. Say, come on, man.
Such a tough play for a first baseman going toward the wall. He does have the netting to fall into. You see that Baseball Canada tattoo on his right arm.
So 8 pitches so far in this at bat. Number 9 is on the way right now from Castillo. And it is right there on the outside corner with the knees to get him 2 down.
Castillo has a very low arm angle, and I think that can make it a little bit more difficult to pick up. But see how he swings the sinker back. Vladdy thinking it's away, but it's got plenty of the plate.
98 to get him for out number 2. And that'll bring up Okamoto. There's a rip at a first pitch fastball, and it's 0-1. In the month of June, Okamoto 286, 7 home runs, 20 runs driven in, and a .913 OPS. And that got him American League Rookie of the Month honors. I know there are those who don't think that players who have played professionally in Japan should be considered for such awards. But let us remind you, we're here in Seattle where Ichiro won Rookie of the Year back in 2001, the same year he won MVP. And certainly we'll see how the second half of the season goes, but Okamoto may be in the running for a Rookie of the Year when it's all said and done. Ichiro was out on the field before the game today, and Okamoto actually jogged out to the outfield and met with him for a couple of minutes. Out of play. Two down and the base is empty, and Castillo, who is throwing hard in the early going, out in front of 1-2 on Okamoto. Now square at 2-2. Ernie Clement, Sean Keys looking on. Keys DHing, batting 8th tonight. This is pulled down to third. It's a fair ball. Crawford will bounce it across and pass Naylor. And Okamoto is going to reach. And an error will be charged to J.P. Crawford, who recently they flip-flopped and moved the rookie Colt Emerson to short. His natural position, they moved Crawford to third, unable to bounce it across accurately there.
And Okamoto trying to avoid the collision there. He missed the first base bag, so Mark Budzinski immediately saying get right back there, but the catcher Kyle Raleigh was doing a good job backing up anyway.
So the inning's still going, and that'll bring up Dalton Varsho hitting in the cleanup spot. And Varsho has popped it up on the infield for the shortstop Emerson. And now the top of the first comes to a close. Nothing across against Castillo. Dylan Cease will take the mound for the Blue Jays. Bottom of the first, and no score in this game. And again, there are Blue Jays fans everywhere. They were, how many did we meet today? As you were walking around, or I was walking around the city, they have flooded into Seattle, as they always do, to see the Blue Jays here this weekend. Here's a look at the Mariners lineup. Overall, offensively, the Mariners very similar in terms of runs scored on the year as the Blue Jays, but they've got a little bit more power, and Dominic Canzone has some of that. Cal Raleigh hit 60 home runs last year. He's only got 8 so far this year, has spent some time on the IL. They will get a look at Dylan Cease, who Joe is looking to get deeper into the game than he's gone recently.
The 30-year-old right-hander has pitched 15 times, 15 starts. The ERA is just over 3 because he allowed 4 runs in just 4 2/3 innings in his last start against the Rangers. It took him 107 pitches to do that. 5 walks and 10 strikeouts. So the worst of both at times, but the strikeouts are always going to be there. He needs to throw more strikes to have success with his stuff.
And he starts Crawford off with a fastball that is fouled back. It's 0-1.
Talked to Dylan a little bit about his mechanics, and he feels that he was staying closed a little bit too long. Pitchers are always working on something. He needs to be in the zone more.
Crawford hitting just .214 on the season. He's been in the leadoff spot here and there, in and out. Brendan Donovan has as well, but Donovan is on the IL right now. As we mentioned, Julio Rodriguez went on the IL, the concussion IL today. Well, the Mariners down one of their more important guys. There's a slider that's in there, and it's 1-2. The Mariners go about scoring their runs differently than the Blue Jays. Dan Wilson's team hits a fair number of homers. No team in the majors has scored a higher percentage of its runs on home runs as the Mariners have this year. What they do not do is string hits together. They rely more on like walk homer, that sort of thing in order to score their runs. Alejandro Kirk doing the catching tonight, and the 2-2 pitch is fouled back.
J.P. Crawford is the guy that will take his walks. Tough to get him to strike out. Not a whole lot of swing and miss in his game. So this is the challenge for someone like Cease that knows he needs to be in the zone, but this is the kind of guy. Attack the zone.
Another 2-2 on the way. Taken high. Boy, you could see Crawford started and managed to stop the swing and take it high for ball 3. And there you can see the chase rate. He is good at not going out of the zone. But he went after that one, and Cease will strike him out.
Well, and it could be the spin on that pitch. He's able to lay off the high fastball the pitch before. This one, he sees the spin, probably thinks it's coming down, but it didn't really do it.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOut. The number 2 hitter, the always dangerous Randy Arozarena. And that's in there at the top of the zone for a strike. Arozarena's power numbers are down a little bit this year. He hit 27 home runs last year. He's at just 8 this year, and that's in 80 games. He's been healthy. 0-2, and a challenge coming very early in this game. Not a leverage spot. You want to be sure about it. And it is going.
Seattle has one challenge remaining.
The call is confirmed. This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. So it is 0-2, and the Mariners are down to 1. As now he lays off high, ball 1.
That was that sinker that he ran on the inside part of the plate against Arozarena. He's got the 4-seamer and the sinker. That's one of the newest weapons that he's been using this year to right. He's been very successful with it.
Now the 1-2. Fastball that Arozarena gets to and fouls off. Arozarena does have 2 career home runs off Dylan Cease in 12 at-bats. Max Scherzer is back with the boys. He made a rehab start up in Vancouver today, but back here in Seattle alongside Shane Bieber, who's going to get the start in the game tomorrow. Cease was out in front 0-2. It's now 2-2. Grounded foul. This is where they would love him to have the ability to get the guy quicker. It's not just the walk. Sometimes it's how many pitches do you throw after you get to 0-2 or 1-2 that can drive up that pitch count.
Doesn't quite have that good fastball just yet early on. You wonder if maybe that's why he turns to the spin more.
Strike 3 called, and Arozarena is challenging again.
Wow.
They've already lost one in this at bat, and he is challenging for the second time, and he's wrong again.
Seattle's out of challenges.
And the Mariners are out of challenges in the first inning.
That is something manager Dan Wilson is not going to be thrilled about. You just can't put your team in a bind like that in the first inning of a ball game.
You know, if you get it from a younger player, we saw Valenzuela as a catcher in the third or fourth innings of a couple of games. I think you chalk it up to inexperience or trying too hard or something. But I mean, that's just thinking of yourself more than thinking of the team.
That's
when a veteran guy does that.
Bad reflection on the player. Absolutely.
Yeah. Back-to-back strikeouts for Cease. Here's Dominic Canzone, the DH. Did not play a huge role in the ALCS, but this is a dangerous guy. He's got a lot of power. He's got 13 home runs in just 197 at-bats. He has been playing through a hamstring injury recently. The Mariners are going through it in the health department right now. Some guys on the IL, other guys playing but not 100% physically. Fouled off, 2-2.
Well, we all know Dylan Cease needs to throw more strikes. Watch out, Alejandro. He's saying middle, right in the middle of the plate here. We're not going for the edges. We're behind 2-1, and he put it right there. That's a good job by Kirk trying to keep his pitcher in the middle of the plate because the stuff is so good.
And a changeup will get him for strike 3 called as Dylan Cease strikes out the side here in the bottom of the first. One more look going to break. He gets Crawford, he gets Arozarena, and he finishes it off with Canzone.
Make it a Friday with McCain, official French fry of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Top 2 here in Seattle. Glad you were with us to open up this always fun series between the Blue Jays and their fans and the Mariners and their fans. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Hazel May. No score top 2, and here's Alejandro Kirk to face Luis Castillo. Castillo will drill one in at the knees for a called strike. A good day for Kirk on Wednesday on Canada Day. Had a couple of singles and a couple of walks. This bat getting going helps the offense. This is one of their most important hitters. Got off to a slow start, broke his thumb, came back after a couple of months, had that one great game, then went through a lull, but maybe some signs that he's starting to come out of it. And he certainly likes hitting in this ballpark.
Sometimes you get to a ballpark where you've had success. It's that mental edge that you can get, maybe get Kirky going.
Popped up. Naylor's going to watch this one. He can tell it's going out of play. I wonder if Luis Castillo's a little bit bothered by Randy Arozarena using 2 challenges in the bottom of the first, because now he's not going to get any calls, any challenges on close pitches on his side.
Not just the hitters that are going to be angry with you. And we know as you get later into a ball game, if it's tight, the leverage index just goes through the roof. Everything can be so important in a tight game later on.
First inning, nobody on base is not high leverage.
No.
Couple of strikes on Kirk with Pinango and Clement behind him. So Joe mentioned that Castillo has pitched in relief 3 times this year. Again, they've got 6 starters right now, and occasionally they are piggybacking them, and they are going to do that tomorrow. There's a ground ball out to short, scooped up by Emerson. I guess it's a good problem to have when you got 6 pretty good starting pitchers. And realistically, Castillo might be number 6 right now. They've got some really good guys. Bryce Miller took a no-hitter into the 7th last night. The Blue Jays will see Logan Gilbert, hypothetically, or tentatively, I should say, for the first, that's Gilbert on the right there, for the first 5 innings tomorrow. And then Emerson Hancock for the last 4. Now, if something really weird happens, the plan can change. But that's the plan right now. At some point, they probably have to get down to 5. They are going with only 7 relievers because they've got 6 starters. But if they only use 2 starters tomorrow, it gives the bullpen a reset.
Yeah, and I think when Bryce Miller came off the injured list, that's the way to get him going and to keep Luis Castillo built up. I mean, you're right. It's a great problem to have, an embarrassment of riches for this Mariners rotation.
And their two top prospects are starting pitchers who are both incredibly highly ranked by MLB Pipeline, Baseball America, etc. 1-2 now, the count on Yohendrick Pinango. This is a team built on pitching, much better on the mound than they are offensively. The Mariners tied with the Texas Rangers for the top spot in the American League West. Each of them 45 and 43, 2 games over. Swing and a miss. Man, this is big time stuff from Castillo. Another 97 and his second strikeout of the night.
97 up top, and that high fastball, we see it all around the game. It's just so tough for hitters to lay off. Always felt as a hitter, that ball closer to your eyes. You think it's a good pitch to hit, but there's just no way to get to it at 97.
So 2 down, and here's a guy who got one of the biggest ovations in the ballpark pregame when the introductions were done. That is Ernie Clement. Hitting .299 on the season, the American League leader in doubles with 22. And the Mariners know all about him. Between the regular season and the ALCS last year, in 13 games, Clement hit .378 against Seattle pitching. And Seattle pitching is some of the best pitching in the majors. That's off the corner, ball 2. First meeting of the season between these two teams. The Mariners will be back in Toronto in August. A dribbler to the right side. Castillo's got to get over and does a great job to come up with that throw that was a bit behind him from Naylor and still find the bag. A really good defensive play by the pitcher Luis Castillo here to get out number 3. A year ago, Cal Raleigh was about as dangerous a hitter as there was in the major leagues. He hit 60 home runs. A record for a catcher, was the runner-up to Aaron Judge for MVP. But a huge drop-off this year. A .570 OPS, 378 points down from a season ago. And again, he missed about a month with an oblique injury, but still just 8 home runs at this point of the season. He was on Team USA at the WBC. He was their starting catcher, but he didn't hit at all. And by the end of the tournament, he wasn't playing. Will Smith took over. Then he comes back and he starts the season slow. He gets it going a bit. Then he suffers the oblique injury. He misses over a month. He comes back and still doesn't really have it going. He's taking some walks. And just like around the Blue Jays, people are looking for positives with Guerrero and saying, okay, you can see a little of this, a little of that. Maybe that's a sign. He's starting to take some walks, but still just not doing much with the bat, as he takes a fastball right down the middle and sees out in front 0-2.
And that's a bit of a start, I think, when you see a player struggling like he is. The fact that he's taking his walks would mean that maybe he's not expanding as much. And the first thing you have to do is start hitting good pitches. So mechanically, you've got to get your swing.
A bouncer down to first. Guerrero will take it himself.
But there are mysteries around the game. The Blue Jays know very well. Blue Jays fans know very well with the struggles of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this year. Cal Raleigh, as you noted the numbers, it's worse. It's hard to believe, but when you have one of your big-time hitters that provides so much production, it impacts the entire offense when you don't have it.
I'm sure you remember, he hit 4 home runs in the ALCS. Like, if you made a mistake, it landed in the seats. Here's Josh Naylor. A changeup that comes in a little bit high from Cease for ball 1. Naylor, another guy whose numbers are down a lot from last year.
First pitch changeup's always an interesting call for me against a hitter in his first at bat, because he hasn't seen anything yet. I was always hesitant to do that. Let him see the fastball at some point, once or twice, so then the changeup is actually a change of pace off of that fastball.
A sharply hit to Hopper, but right out to Clement. And that's out number 2. And, you know, you love seeing Dylan Cease strike guys out. He strikes out a ton of guys. But you also like seeing 2 outs on 4 pitches here in the second inning.
Is that ever, and you get, especially after falling behind Naylor 2-0, Dylan Cease has the stuff. When I say attack hitters, I mean think middle of the zone, as Alejandro Kirk was showing last inning. Trust your stuff. If there's any pitcher that can trust his stuff, it's this guy.
Luke Raley is the batter, the right fielder, former Tampa Bay Ray. Another guy with some power, 209 at bats. He's got 14 home runs. Another guy who is playing at less than 100%. He's got a left forearm issue, cost him a game earlier this week, and apparently there's some discomfort in there when he really lets a swing go. Pops this one up back of the plate. It'll wind up in the seats below us, 1-2. The Mariners beating the Angels 1-0 last night. They swept that series. Another foul back. They had a stretch just before the game last night where they scored 5 and 6 and 8 runs, but there have been a lot of 1s and 2s and 3s for this Mariner team offensively in recent weeks. 2-2. They are 25th in the majors in runs scored, 1 spot behind the Blue Jays.
And this is, again, the type of guy that can hurt you right here. Remember seeing Luke Raley spent a couple of years in Tampa, where Blue Jays fans would have seen him a fair bit.
The 2-2 from Cease. Got him. A changeup away. 3 up, 3 down again, and Cease now has 4 strikeouts through the first 2 innings tonight. Both starters looking sharp early.
Welcome back. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. shrugged off any baggage in his return to the ALCS from last season here in Seattle. He said, if that's a long time ago, I've already turned the page. He is happy to see his good friend Julio Rodriguez once again, but other than that, he said that series is firmly in the rearview mirror. Now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s return trip to T-Mobile Park could be exactly what the doctor ordered. Versus the Mariners, he hit almost 400 with a whopping OPS over 1,300 on his way to winning the ALCS MVP award. John Schneider remembers Guerrero having a different mindset in that postseason. He's one of those players that just rises to the occasion. Certain guys respond and react accordingly, and Guerrero did just that. Dan, the hope is being back here in Seattle recaptures some of that postseason magic for Guerrero. Guys?
Hazel, thank you. Would it be wonderful? I think John Schneider, he has talked about it on Wednesday and again today. You can't come into this ballpark and play this team as Sean Keys is going to bounce one up the middle. A leadoff base hit and his 3rd hit as a big leaguer. Even though it's July and even though neither team is doing great, it still feels like a bit of a bigger game. Part of it is all these Blue Jays fans who are here, but part of it is what these two teams went through last year in the ALCS.
It's hard not to bring up the history. John Schneider mentioned that today just sitting in his office. It brought back memories of the last time he was sitting there, and he also confirmed that they weren't very good memories if we all recall Game 5 here in Seattle.
And here's Andres Jimenez lining one into the gap, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. And Keys is getting the wave around 3rd and will come in to score the first run of the ball game.
Anytime you see a left-handed hitter shoot a ball in the left-hand center gap, it's just a thing of beauty. And Andres Jimenez takes this sinker down and away from Castillo and drills it, and it rolls all the way to the wall. That's hard to do here in T-Mobile Park, but watch the throw from the outfield. Robles misses his cutoff man. Remember, Julio Rodriguez out tonight. Not sure if it made a difference or not, but those are the little things that Dan Wilson will be all over.
Nathan Lucas shows bunt and gets it down and is just out at first. He kind of popped it up, but it got to the grass, but a good play made it 3rd by Crawford. But Lucas will sacrifice Jimenez to 3rd.
Well, a little bit of a different look, but Nathan Lucas gets the job done, moving the runner over. See, Jimenez can walk over to 3rd, and he makes it very close to getting a little butt knock.
So now the infield comes in with a runner at third, one out. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to try to drive Jimenez home. He was called out on strikes in the first. A single by Keys, a double by Jimenez. How about the 8-9 hitters in the lineup, giving the Blue Jays the early lead? How to play right side, 1-1.
Left-handed hitters have had much more success against Castillo, and that's because of the two fastballs and that deathly slider against righties makes it so tough. But Vladdy's got to get something here out over the plate that he can get up over this drawn-in infield, get it in the air.
And he does. He shoots it into right for a base hit, and Jimenez is in to score.
That is a beautiful piece of hitting because Vladdy's not getting jumpy in the batter's box. He's allowing that good fastball to travel. In the event that he gets that breaking ball, he can still see that slider a little longer. Fastball away, punches it the other way. Great situational hitting right there.
Those are the kinds of hits that even when Guerrero's gone through home run droughts in the past, we've seen a lot of that. And that's still got value.
That's got a lot of value.
Yeah.
Driving in runs is good. Managers love them.
His 35th RBI on the season. It is 2-0 Blue Jays. And the batter is Kaz Okamoto, who reached on an error in the first. And he's got a base hit. Lines it into left. The fourth hit of the inning already for the Blue Jays. Boy, where did this come after the way Castillo looked in the first two innings?
And anytime I see Okamoto handle a slider on the outside part of the plate like this, he covers that ball and lines it into left field. That is a very good thing. We know he can handle middle in very well, but to get to a pretty good slider on the outer part of the plate, excellent coverage.
And Pete Woodworth, the pitching coach for the Mariners, is on his way to the mound. You know, these Seattle starters, they're really good. We've talked about them a lot. Miller and Wu. Castillo has a track record. Gilbert, Kirby. But for some reason, last year, regular season and postseason, the Blue Jays did some of their best hitting against one of the best starting rotations in the major leagues.
Hitting coaches will constantly tell you, you game plan for a starting pitcher. Some days, the game plan works because you're able to execute. Unfortunately, this year, we've not seen a lot of that. They have just failed in the execution department.
Here's Dalton Varsho. 2 runs in, 2 men on, and 1 out here in the top of the third. Varsho popped up to short his first time up. He has not had much success at all against Castillo, including the out tonight. He's now 1 for 13. One and one. Jimenez with the RBI double to left center. Jimenez had a couple of big hits, one of them off Castillo in the ALCS a season ago. And now a drive to left center by Varsho, but running it down on the edge of the track is Victor Robles. Guerrero is going to tag and come to third. Okamoto back to first. Boy, Varsho gave that a ride, but Robles got to it.
And with 1 out, you have to think about scoring. Keep an eye on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at second base here. He's thinking of scoring, but right about here, he realizes Robles is going to get to that ball, so he immediately gets back to the second base bag very late to still advance the 90 feet. And these are the little base running things that John Schneider continues to harp on.
But that was perfect, the way he did it, right? Because there was 1 out.
Couldn't do it better.
Yep. So first and third, 2 down for Alejandro Kirk, who grounded out to short in his first at bat tonight. Up the middle, a diving stop at short by Emerson, and they get the out at first. A great play by Emerson and a very good pick at first by Naylor for the third out here in the top of the third inning, denying the Blue Jays another run. Terrific stop by Emerson. The Blue Jays, though, still get 2 and lead 2-0. Fans, this is your chance to relive the back-to-back World Series championship. On Saturday, July 18th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a set of 92 and 93 World Series replica rings. And don't forget to tune in or arrive early for the unveiling of the Joe Carter statue. Get your tickets now at BlueJays.com/tickets. Well, an eventful and productive top of the third for the Blue Jays here in Seattle. Keys with a single, Jimenez an RBI double, Guerrero an RBI single, and it's got him dancing in the seats here in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. Dylan Cease 6 up, 6 down with 4 strikeouts. Number 7 hitter is the second baseman Cole Young, 22-year-old in his second year in the big leagues, first round pick 4 years ago. 259, 9 home runs on the season. He has started every single game this year. Number 89 tonight. And we watched him before the game as Cease jumps out in front 0-2. We watched him. He and Dominic Canzone were out doing some early BP. And I mean to tell you, this guy, who's not the biggest guy in the world, was hitting bombs like way back in the seats in right and right center. Lays off down low, ball 1.
And that wasn't regular batting practice. That was when we were here early and the Seattle coaches had the machine out on the field, as we talk about with the Blue Jays all the time, and it looked like he was set up for Dylan Cease sliders.
Right.
Trying to get as good a look in terms of preparation.
Shoots it the other way. He got on top of a fastball that was up above the zone in a 1-2 count, and he lines it to left.
But to get to any fastball up top, especially high velocity, you really need to flatten that bat out. And did he ever? That's almost a flat level swing at the top.
So he's aboard to begin the bottom of the third. And now Victor Robles, who is in center field tonight with Julio Rodriguez on the concussion IL. He runs up to bunt and bunts it foul. 0-1. This is what happened to Rodriguez last night. He's at first, ground ball to the first baseman, and as base runners are taught, kind of get into the line for the throw from the first baseman. You saw him angling in onto the grass just to make the throw tougher on the first baseman. Well, that's great, but the throw hit him in the back of the head as a result, and now he's on the concussion IL. John Schneider was asked about it before the game, and again, this is as old as baseball itself. This is how you were taught to play the game when you came up, in many generations before that. But John Schneider said, I'd rather my guy be out and healthy than be safe and on the IL.
Yeah, you're certainly not expecting that to get hit in the head. Oftentimes just trying to take one off the shoulder.
On an 0-2 pitch, Robles lines one into left for a base hit. So Cease got in front of Young 1-2. Got out in front of Robles 0-2, but they both come up with singles.
Well, for both teams, the bottom of the order getting things going. Another fastball at the top, this one at 97, and Robles is able to get on top of that.
I mean, you love 97 up above the zone. He gets a lot of swing and miss on that pitch.
Yeah, and I think when you're ahead like that, you still want to get that up above and out of the zone. Maybe the best thing he can do is pop it up.
Colt Emerson and the Blue Jays are in on the corners, thinking a bunt is a possibility from the rookie shortstop. He squares, pulls it back, takes a strike, throw down to second, but back in safely is Young.
Anytime as a catcher you see a hitter bunting, when he squares, if he misses it or pulls back, you think of coming up and firing, because that runner is anticipating and expecting that bunt to get down. Sometimes you catch him off in that secondary lead.
Let's see if they keep it on. Emerson, not even 21 years of age, a rookie, their first round pick 3 years ago. Does not square. And takes it high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Quite the middle of the infield for the Seattle Mariners, with Emerson at short and Cole Young at second base. 20-year-old at shortstop, 22-year-old at second base, and Emerson has been, or Young has been phenomenal at second base. Defensive.
He chops this one foul right side, 1-2.
This is where swing and miss stuff really plays, and how he's going to try to attack Emerson here. It's the guy that I think if you spin the baseball, you got a shot for the punch out, and that's what you want here. You don't want any runners moving. Or your best slider.
A couple of looks. And it's grounded out to short. Jimenez to the bag himself and fires it on to first to get him. The right play and well executed by Jimenez. Let's see if Dan Wilson and the Mariners are thinking of challenging here. It was close at first. They will not. What a big play that is.
I like the idea of throwing a slider better because you may get swing and miss. He threw a pretty darn good changeup off the plate away. Weakly hit to Jimenez, but he takes it himself and gets it there just in time.
So runner at third, 2 down, top of the order, J.P. Crawford. Slider low, ball 1. Crawford struck out in the bottom of the first. How about a curveball? Maybe not what Crawford was expecting, and it's in there for a strike. You can see Pete Walker's kind of popping along a little bit.
Okay, I like that
Yeah.
curveball. I like that. Yep. He's got so many weapons.
And he's throwing harder too. The fastball and the slider have both come up about 2 miles an hour from the first inning.
Could be just getting it going. Everybody heading out to the West Coast. A little jet lag still in that body. Maybe just waking it up.
The appeal did not go, and it's 3-1.
I'd be very careful here with Crawford at the plate just because you do have a Rosarena on the plate or on deck. I want to give something to Crawford here where he can punch a base hit to cash in a 2-out run when I really like the righty-righty matchup with that Rosarena.
And that's ball 4, the first walk given up by Cease tonight. So we will see the righty-righty matchup between Cease and a Rosarena. Rosarena was called out on strikes in the first, and not only that, used up both of Seattle's challenges. Challenged twice, really the same pitch, fastball in both times, and was wrong both times. And a ground ball to second. Clement has it, and Cease gets out of it. A big double play. He strands a couple of runners, and it's still 2-0. Fans, July baseball is here, and the outfield district is the perfect place to watch a game in the sun. Whether it's TD Park Social, the Corona Rooftop, or another ballpark patio, you can watch the game from all your favorite general admission spots, all with one ticket. Just head to bluejays.com/outfield district to get yours. I don't know if they have an outfield district or something to that effect here at T-Mobile Park, which, by the way, is one of the best ballparks in baseball. One of the most beautiful ballparks. It's great. It always feels big. It always feels energetic here. Now, we're only here when the Blue Jays are here, and it's a little more energetic because so many folks have come from north of the border.
Got lucky it was a pretty nice weather, too, after coming back from the heat. Blue Jays are playing in on Canada Day in Toronto. Very nice out here in the Pacific Northwest.
Ooh, fouled off, and Raleigh's feeling it.
Of course, it missed the equipment. Got him in that left thigh just above the knee guard.
And then it pinballed into his right foot, too. Oh, 0-2 on Yohendrick Pinyango. He takes it very high. Castillo got him on a fastball up above the belt to strike him out in the second. And gets him again. Third strikeout of the night for Luis Castillo, who again started very slowly this year, but is pitching better and better of late.
Such a good pitch at the bottom of the zone when he's got a couple of different off-speed pitches to offer.
Clement grounds one just foul up the third base line.
He's trying to get Ernie early in the count on that slider, trying to get him to expand. That's what he hit the first time up.
Third baseman Crawford still playing in even with the bag. Fastball fouled back, and it's 0-2. And now Crawford is going to back up. It's interesting. I don't think of Ernie ever as a bunt for a base hit kind of guy. Kind of surprised to see a third baseman playing in.
I think you're doing him a favor.
Yeah, I do
He's
too.
a dead pull hitter.
Yeah.
He's going to hit it right by you if you creep in too much.
I'm sure Clement enjoyed a day off yesterday. He's been dealing with this and that. We know about the hip situation, and he's gotten banged up from time to time, but playing every day. We both laugh because only Ernie does stuff like that.
Only Ernie does it because you're thinking he is going to try to pull the baseball, but at the last split second, it's almost like he tried to work inside that ball just to get to it. It's like he changed his swing mid-swing.
And now a ball in the air to center field, but lots of room out there for Robles. 2 down, and that'll bring up Sean Keys. And here was the biggest moment of his very young Major League Baseball career. Opposite field, 3-run homer on Canada Day.
Talking to Sean today about that, and he went back to his first at-bat that game when he struck out against Freddie Peralta on that really good curveball. He saw some good breaking pitches early on in that series, and he thought, I got to remind myself to stay back. Don't get so jumpy. Really see the ball deep. Well, did he ever see Freddie Peralta's fastball on the outside part of the plate deep? He hit it in the Blue Jays bullpen.
And eventually, as we were talking to him in his locker room in the clubhouse, it kind of got around to the scene here and all the Canadians. Remember, Sean played in Vancouver last year. He's gotten to know a ton of people, and he was like, how lucky am I coming up for just before Canada Day and then being on this road trip right here? I mean, that's a lot in the first week or two in the big leagues for a young guy to experience.
Probably 2 highlights for the Blue Jays for players during the course of a season. Of course, opening day is as wonderful as it gets, but Canada Day followed by Seattle.
Interesting. He swung at one, and Castillo threw it again. The slider down and in. He didn't swing at that one.
And that's a good idea of what we're talking about. Really trying to let that ball travel and get deep. Really see it longer. Now, if you do that, you're going to be a little late on the fastball, and that's okay. That's how he hit the ball out of the park the other day.
We asked him how many of the 21 home runs in the minors did you hit out to left field this year, and he thought about it for a little bit, and he said, I think 2 of them at Double-A. So 19 of the 21 went center, right center, or right field, but his first one in the big leagues went out to left.
That's it right there. So he's taken a couple of good breaking balls this at bat, a couple of those sliders down, and then that fastball's out over a little bit late, but as we said, if you're trying to see the breaking ball longer, you might be a little later on the fastball, but as a 2-strike hitter right here, this is the approach you want. Trying to cover both. Yep. Be a tough out. This is what being a tough out is right here.
Like, you could look at the numbers when it gets called up and go, oh, 21 home runs, but you're learning a lot more by watching him.
Absolutely.
Now, right?
And I think having the conversations with him now that I know what he's thinking up there, that helps a ton. And that's why having access to these players really helps.
Line drive, left center field. It's going to split the outfielders and get all the way to the wall. And Keys is into second base with his second hit of the night, and this one is a double.
And this is simply the result of a young hitter having a fantastic approach at the plate, laying off some sliders, fouling off some tough fastballs, and the pitcher's finally saying, he's not going to chase my slider. I got to come back with a fastball. So he does, and he handles that fastball down and away, driving it into the gap.
You love to see him not roll over and hit the ground ball to second base. Doing what he did right there was perfect.
People, I can't tell you how impressive that right there was. Fun to watch.
His 4th major league hit, his first double. Here's Andres Jimenez, who had an RBI double to the very same spot where Keys just hit his, and that scored Keys in the third.
And the pitch was in a very similar spot that Keys just got. Sinker down and away, and Andres handles the ball down pretty well.
A changeup that misses off the inside corner. He's fallen to behind 2-0. And then a slider to get him back in the count a little bit. 2-1. The shortstop Emerson is shading up the middle, and the third baseman Crawford is in a little bit. There's a pretty good amount of space between shortstop and third base right now. This is popped up foul left side. Crawford's going to give it a look, but it won't have a play. Just on the other side of the netting and into Blue Jays territory in terms of the fans here in Seattle. Basically, to our left is Blue Jays, to our right is Mariners. It's not quite that simple, but that's the way it usually works out. I'll tell you this, between the Blue Jays coming here and World Cup matches on Wednesday night and then this coming Monday, the hotels and the bars are doing great business right now.
It is a lively downtown.
It
Get out
is.
and walk around.
And not only is there a World Cup match on a Monday, it's Team USA. It's the United States against Belgium on a Monday night at Lumen Field, which is the Seahawks' home, which is just across the street here from T-Mobile Park. Jimenez battling, and another 2-2, and it's down and in, a full count. Or the quality of the at-bats from the 8 and 9 hitters for the Blue Jays so far tonight has been outstanding. That's number 8. He's at second base, and number 9 is in the box. And it's outside for ball 4.
Good at bats, good plate appearances, and Andres Jimenez turns that lineup back over to Nathan Lucas. This is what a manager wants. This is what your hitting coaches wants. Execution of your game plan against a starting pitcher.
Here's Nathan Lucas, grounded out in the first, had a sacrifice in the third. He's looking to drive in a run or more here in this at bat. It's a healthy cut, but he fouled it off. 0-1. It's another slider. Castillo is throwing almost 50% sliders tonight, which is way more than he normally throws. A one-hopper to second, but snared by Young. And he'll throw out Lucas for out number 3.
Welcome back. Well, it's been quite a day for Kaz Okamoto. He's the AL Rookie of the Month, and he met the legendary Ichiro Suzuki for the very first time. Okamoto told me he was extremely nervous, and baseball ops assistant Gosuke Kato can relate. Shortly after Kato was drafted, he met Ichiro when he was a member of the Yankees, and they were playing a series at Angel Stadium. Kato admits he always gets butterflies in his presence. For many Japanese players, he told me, Ichiro represents greatness when it comes to work ethic, longevity, and humility. He's the gold standard as a player and as a human being. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. I don't know about you, Joe. He was one of my favorite players ever that I have watched. He did not come to the major leagues, Ichiro, until he was 27 years old and still exceeded 3,000 hits. Remarkable.
The style of play, too.
Yeah.
It looks like he could still play standing out there with Gosuke.
I mean, in his, his first 8-9 years in the big leagues, if he put the ball on the ground, you had to do everything perfectly just to have a chance to throw him out. He had 200 or more hits each of his first 10 years in the big leagues, including 262 hits in 2004.
That's called putting it in play and getting your knocks.
This one is foul. Well, wait. I mean, if that spins back, Vladdy was watching it right to the bag. If that had a little reverse English on it, that would have been an easy out.
You don't ever want to give up on those as hitters,
Right.
just in case you don't know how the grounds crew has tailored the diamond. But if this hits something and kicks back right here, Canzone's toast.
Yeah.
Watch, Vladdy thinks it's fair at the end, doesn't he? Did that hit a stone, Vladdy? Oh, there it is. It's fair ball.
1-2 on Dominic Canzone, the DH. Ichiro is a .311 lifetime hitter. Played his first 11 plus years with Seattle, got traded to the Yankees. I think a lot of people forget he was a Marlin for 3 years and then finished up very briefly a little bit with the Mariners right at the end of his career, and is still around the team, still gets involved and does some drills. And as you said, when you see him running around the outfield or throw, even just playing catch, he looks like he could still play.
We saw him in center field here this afternoon when we first got here, and you and I are both looking, and sure enough, we saw Okamoto walking out toward the outfield. And I'm thinking, oh, who would he know on that team? And I said, well, wait a minute. Just the mannerism. He was stretching. He was bending down, doing Ichiro things, because we've watched him play for so many years. And we're like, that's Ichiro. He's going out to meet Ichiro.
Ball 4. Kirk wants to challenge. And he is out. The runner, Canzone, went all the way down to first. He's standing on first. And I don't know if we heard the home plate umpire's microphone working, but that is strike 3, a successful challenge for Alejandro Kirk.
Well, it's a heck of an at-bat for Canzone. The foul ball down the line that stayed foul, but this one catches the top part of the zone. Great challenge by Kirk.
5th strikeout for Cease. And now Cal Raleigh.
Those balls at the top of the zone are so tricky, especially the sliders, because as a hitter, you feel like it was such a bad backup slider, there's no way it came down.
And maybe this is obvious to some, but maybe it's worth saying. I think some people think the strike zone, the box you see on TV, is the same for every hitter. If that was ever the case, those days are long gone. They measured every single hitter in spring training this year. And your strike zone, it's something like from 27% of your height to 52.5, whatever it is. And it doesn't matter if you crouch or stand upright, it's your height, not your stance, that determines the strike zone. Swing and a miss to get Raleigh. Blew him away at 98. So for Kirk, obviously, top of the zone is different for every different hitter as they come up.
And he understands that behind the plate as a catcher, but I think for catchers too, more importantly, Alejandro has such awareness of where he's receiving the pitch and how he's receiving it. If that on that particular hitter catches the zone, he's very good at challenging.
2 down, back-to-back strikeouts here in the 4th, and here's Josh Naylor. Hit a ground ball his first time up. And now he lifts one way up in the air to right center field, but it is playable. Nathan Lucas will make the catch, and Dylan Cease with a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 4th. Step into the upside down on a Wednesday, July 22nd, as the Blue Jays celebrate 10 years of Stranger Things. Fans who purchase a specialty ticket will receive a Blue Jays Mike Wheeler bobblehead. Remember, this item is exclusive for fans who purchase a specialty ticket. Visit bluejays.com/specialty tickets to get yours today. Now that's a Blue Jay hat. And that's another Blue Jay hat. Got that over the border somehow.
Might need a rooftop carrier for that thing.
2-0 Blue Jays going top 5. And here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Got jammed on that fastball, rolls it out to second, and is thrown out. Guerrero now 1 for 3, hit an RBI single back in the 3rd. And these two like each other a lot. You can see a little smile and words exchanged.
Well, that's that sinker. He threw first pitch to Vladdy, and it looked like Vladdy was just trying to stay inside it, shoot it the other way, and I'm sure Castillo had a little fun with him, thinking he couldn't get around on his heater.
Kazuma Okamoto reached on an error in the first, had a base hit to left in the third. And then a breaking ball over the inside corner for a called strike. 1-1. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Blue Jays. No runs, 2 hits, and 1 error for Seattle. Swing and a miss at a high fastball. Castillo's velocity continues to be above his season averages. Well hit ball to the opposite field, but run down on the track by Raley for the second out.
Stream every pitch on Canada's best and most reliable 5G Plus network. Visit Rogers.com today to get connected.
So Luis Castillo, other than that third inning, has been very good. And again, he might be their 6th starter, but they've got a lot of good ones, and they are running a 6-man rotation. Tomorrow they will, and they do this every now and again, they will piggyback. Logan Gilbert will start. Emerson Hancock will come in later, and if all goes to plan, it'll be Gilbert for 5 and Hancock for 4, and that's it. Very, very unusual, and whether they stay like this or, do they trade one of these starting pitchers? They could really use help in the bullpen. They could really use a right-handed bat. Do they trade one of these starters?
Left-handed heavy. Talking earlier about the sliders that he's throwing tonight, you had mentioned throwing a lot more sliders, and I think even to the left-handers getting through the order a couple of times, they're seeing that they're used in the outside part of the plate a lot against Castillo. So the lefties are looking out there. Brian Wu, there's another good one.
Yeah. The Blue Jays aren't going to see Wu or Bryce Miller, and from a Blue Jay perspective, that's just fine. They are going to see the other 4, including 2 in that piggyback scenario tomorrow.
And what tomorrow will do for Dan Wilson also, when you use those 2 starters, is totally reset your bullpen for a day.
Swing and a miss, got him to chase a changeup, and Castillo sets down the Blue Jays in order in the top of the 5th. So Max Scherzer flew out to Seattle, the team, Wednesday night, zipped up to Vancouver yesterday, and made a rehab start for the Canadians today. 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, threw 49 pitches, 33 strikes. Back down here in Seattle tonight. We didn't get a chance to talk to him before the game. I think he showed up closer to game time, but John Schneider talked about Max and said that Scherzer is going to make 2 more starts, 1 next week and then 1 during what is the Major League Baseball All-Star break, but they really want to get him built up. So if he threw 49, you could project 60-something next time, maybe 80 the time after that. Then the Blue Jays come out of the All-Star break. Does Max Scherzer go back into the rotation in what is now the Patrick Corbin has turned into the
5
Spencer
spot.
Miles, whatever you want to call
We'll call it
right?
the 5 spot.
The 5
right?
spot, right.
Sure.
Does Scherzer go back into that 5 spot? Corbin is now in the bullpen. Miles got 3 innings. Miles kind of being held, it would appear, until Tuesday in San Francisco in that spot again. But Max Scherzer is definitely being stretched out to be a starter.
And so much can happen between now and then. Spencer Miles has just been so good. He is going to be the wild card in all of this, because it's how much are they going to use him? His workload, there is no real history, and I'm sure the medical people are all over it. They're just going to track him each and every time after he pitches, see how he feels. I talked to him today. Feels great. That's a good sign for next time.
A couple of strikes on Luke Raley. Line drive center field, but right there is Varsho. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. However things evolve, one thing everybody can agree on is they need more innings out of their starters, and Dylan Cease is off to a very good start in that regard tonight. Kevin Gausman went 6 his last time out. Treya Savage went 6 2/3 his last time. And Shane Bieber, who will start tomorrow, certainly took a step forward from his first start, so you're encouraged by that.
The one thing Dylan can do is give you a lot of pitches. It's just a matter of how long that lasts, and being better, more efficient a little bit tonight, which is good. But to be over 100 pitches in that last start and only go 4 2/3, that's just not going to help out.
In the zone a lot more consistently here in this game. 65 pitches, 43 strikes, 22 balls, and he has only walked 1 so far through 4 1/3.
And I think despite the 2 singles and a walk in that 3rd inning, that's when we kind of saw him get going a little bit.
This is hit really hard down the right field line, but it's foul up into what I guess they would call the 3rd level here at T-Mobile Park, but about 40 feet foul. This is the guy we were talking about who took early BP today, Cole Young. This young guy's got a lot of power.
Back-to-back first-round picks. Cole Young in 2022 and Emerson, the shortstop, in 2023.
Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 7 as we check in with Hazel.
Dan, Joe mentioned Cease trusting his stuff earlier, and John Schneider told me he believes Cease has such good stuff it allows for a larger margin of error. His stuff plays so well, much like a 3-run home run, solves a lot of issues offensively in a ball game. The more Cease understands he can be in the zone a little bit more with his fastball, the deeper he can go in a ball game. Guys.
Hazel, thank you, and some good stuff tonight, although this one is given a jolt, but it's not going to get out. Victor Robles with a fly ball to the warning track. Yohendrick Pinango makes the catch, and it's 5 very good innings for Dylan Cease. 2-0 Blue Jays. Back to the studio with Jamie Campbell. The greatest outdoor show on earth makes its return this week. It's the Calgary Stampede. 10 days of Wild West action begins tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on Sportsnet 1. Blue Jays fans everywhere, as everybody watching at home has come to expect over the years. Top of the 6th inning, 2-0 as Alejandro Kirk lines one to Robles in center, and just like that, one down. Kirk never got a chance to drop the bat. So he is now 0 for 3. And now Yohendrick Pinango, who has not had any success tonight against Castillo. Castillo has struck him out twice. 2 of the 4 that he's got on the night. In there, 0-1. Left-hander Jose A. Ferrer is up in the Mariners' pen. Dan Wilson has 2 lefties in the bullpen, and they're both good ones, Ferrer and Gabe Spire. And the Blue Jays have left-handed bats, 8, 9, and 1 tonight. Pinango is in the 6th spot. Ernie Clement is next, and then after that, 3 straight left-handed batters, so that's a natural spot for Wilson to consider a move. Dribbled foul. And then John Schneider would have to make a decision. Does he leave Keys or pinch hit? Does he leave Lucas? And they're leading, so you want Lucas's defense out there.
Yeah,
so
I think the time in the game matters for sure. Like that 6th inning, 7th inning, probably not. If it gets to that 7th, 8th, and you're down a couple runs, it's different. So the situation of the game is everything. It's almost like John is baiting the other manager, putting 3 lefties together like that. But when you do have that 2-run lead, you can be the aggressor. You can do what you want. And that means keeping Nathan Lucas in there. You do.
And even the Keys one is interesting because, first of all, he's had pretty good success in the minors this year against lefties. If you take him out and bring a right-handed bat in, then you won't have his bat in there later on when, in all likelihood, a righty will be on the mound in Seattle.
That's the key when it happens in the 6th inning for sure.
Yeah. This is why we love baseball.
Absolutely. We don't have to make the decisions of who to.
We just get to talk about it.
Yeah. It's easy. We're never wrong.
Full count on Pinango. Getting to some of the pitches he has swung on and missed earlier in the game, at least extending the at-bat. Castillo up over 90 pitches. Ferrer up in the pen. Guerrero with an RBI single tonight. Jimenez with an RBI double. That's how the Blue Jays have gotten their 2 runs. And a fly ball to right field. Raley back a few steps, but he's got plenty of room to make the catch. 2 down. So 5 2/3 right now for Castillo, and now he'll face Ernie Clement for the 3rd time. Clement 0 for 2. This is hit hard but foul down the line.
Boy, Ernie's just waiting to get one of those sliders middle in, and he got it, but it's hard to keep that one fair.
So Clement at 297 right now, as we mentioned. Joe, over the last 6 weeks, so a long period, he's been between 290 and 310 every single day.
He gets hits. That's what he does. He gets hits. He's not going to walk a whole lot. He needs to get hits, and he does.
A one hopper up the middle and a bad throw. I don't know if it just slipped out of Young's hand. It never had much on it, and it wasn't close, and Clement is going to reach.
Well, this is why you never take anything for granted. It is about as routine as you can make it. The way he was playing, Ernie, right up the middle. He hit it right at him on one hop. Should be the end of the inning, and the ball just sailed away on him. This is a very good second baseman, too.
That was a strange one.
Very. It's not like he had to rush and maybe didn't get the right grip.
So this is interesting. Clement reaches, Keys comes up, but no move to the bullpen. He's got the lefty up, Dan Wilson I'm speaking of, and Keys has already singled and doubled off Castillo tonight.
Both pitches away from him. See if Keys is still looking out over the plate against Castillo. Change up. Yeah.
And he takes it down and away for ball 2.
And this is what I mean about executing game plans as hitters. Force Castillo on the plate, but as lefties, keep looking middle away. If he buries something like a real good slider down and in, you tip your hat to him, but cover that stuff middle away. Sinkers as well.
2-0 slider for a strike. The base hit for Keys was up the middle. The double was to the opposite power alley, left center. And he hits the ball hard to right. Raley back, but he's got this one. Well, a couple of long, loud outs and another good at bat for Keys, but nothing across here in the 6th. Dylan Cease having a very good night and using a lot of different pitches, and it's 2 sinkers, 2 seamers thrown consecutively. Joe, you want to highlight?
Not so many right-handers in the lineup for the Mariners tonight, but this is what's helped Dylan Cease is he's added the sinker to righties, but to lefties. He can use it on the inside edge, and this is a pitch that a young hitter is not going to see a whole lot of, especially at 96. Taking it for strike 3. This, when you throw the sinker in there, you can do one of 2 things. You can jam them and break their bat, or you get them conscious of that ball in there so they're a little bit quick. That one just off the end of the bat. Pitching is all about staying off the barrel, and Dylan Cease can do that as good as anyone.
5 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and a very efficient pitch count for Dylan Cease. As Colt Emerson steps in, he grounded into a double play. His 1 time up. He's the number 9 hitter in the Mariners lineup. So remember Cease's last start, 4 2/3, 107 pitches. Tonight, he's into the 6th and only 7. a world of difference.
He told me that he was feeling a little bit too close. Now, John Schneider, when we talked to him about it in his office today, he said he's got that little look. You'll see in his delivery with a look over at third base in the middle of his delivery, take his eye off the target, and then pick it up a little later. John's point was, hey, sure, I get that helped you get back on track and helped you with your mechanics, but how about picking up that target a hair sooner? Now, whatever he is doing, it's a timing thing for him, but it's working very well tonight because the zone he's just much better towards target.
Ooh, it just missed with that two-seamer in. That was the same pitch that he got Young on, tried to get Emerson, but just a couple of inches inside. Swing and a miss at a high fastball for strikeout number 8.
Dylan Cease is definitely going to get you out of the zone. He can also do it in the zone, but when you've got 98 up top, that is a lot for a young hitter. Colt Emerson, just 20 years old in the big leagues.
Top of the order now, third time through, J.P. Crawford, a strikeout and a walk. He swings and misses at a fastball, and it's 0-1. And we are seeing consistent 98s now from Dylan Cease here in this part of the ball game.
He's just getting on to West Coast time. A little slow going early, getting that fastball velocity up, but he certainly has done that.
I would think pitching in this ballpark too, it's a pitcher's park.
Yep.
And it feels like a pitcher's park. This is pop back foul out of play. It's not so much the dimensions of the ballpark, although maybe there's a little bit of that in the alleys. They did move the fences in here and there over a decade ago. But it just feels, and locals will tell you, the ball just doesn't seem to carry that well here. I've never heard a pitcher say, I hate pitching in Seattle. The same can be said for San Francisco, where the Blue Jays are going next. You make a mistake at Fenway, you pay the price. You make a mistake at Cincinnati, for example, you pay the price. But here on the West Coast, people talk about the marine layer, and they live here, so
they know.
They know.
Some heavy air where the ball doesn't necessarily travel as well. Later in the evening, daytime could be a little different. I'm not sure hitters like hitting off Dylan Cease anywhere.
Right.
Especially when he is on. Such a beautiful ballpark.
This is about as good of a ballpark road trip as a team can have. Starting here, going to Oracle Park in San Francisco, then going to Petco in San Diego. I mean, 3 of the best ballparks in baseball.
Going on to San Francisco, just overlooking the bay. Doesn't get more beautiful than that.
2-2 pitch. Bounced in, and it's full. And you saw Cease a little bit unhappy. He's only walked 1 tonight. 1 down here in the 6th inning. Arozarena after Crawford. 2-0 Blue Jays. Both runs coming in the 3rd. Now the 3-2. That's a fair ball. Snuck it right inside the bag, and that'll be a 1-out double for Crawford.
Good example, though, of Cease getting back in the zone here, and you can't do much about this. He just slaps this ball and tucks it inside the bag. That's not by design at all. Dylan's showing a little bit of frustration, but the fact that he's in the zone there on the edge, you'll take that. That's how you want Dylan Cease.
99 on the outside edge. Here's Arozarena. A strikeout and a ground out. And a called strike, 0-1. And they start to chant Randy here in Seattle. Strike two. Rosarena doesn't like it, but Randy, you don't have any challenges left.
You used them all up.
And you know what? If he had one, it'd have worked out for him, but he used up both of theirs in the same at bat in the first inning. A quick look back in the 0-2, and he got him. Strikeout number 9.
Bring the colors of the ballpark to your home with Beauty Tone Paint's Toronto Blue Jays collection. Only at Home Hardware and Building Centers.
Dylan Cease is having a night so far. 5 2/3 scoreless. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Hazel May with you here in Seattle. 2-0 Blue Jays. Dominic Canzone will take a strike. He didn't love the call. The home plate umpire Paul Clemens says that changeup caught the corner.
First pitch changeup, not an ideal location, but as a hitter, it kind of just freezes you for a minute or a split second. Gets the called strike.
Fouled off. 0-2. 99. Already, he was the American League leader in strikeouts coming into this game, and he's added 9. Way up in the air to right, but not deep. Lucas continues to come in. He'll make the catch. And that is 6 strong innings for Dylan Cease so far tonight. Folks, sign up to become a Rogers customer and watch for Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win exclusive 50th season prizes. Visit Rogers.com today. Nice night here in the Pacific Northwest, and so far so good for the Blue Jays. It is 2-0 in the opening game of this series. The Blue Jays 3.5 behind Seattle for the final wild card spot in the American League, and Dan Wilson has gone to his bullpen. Left-hander Jose A. Ferrer.
Ferrer has done a nice job for Wilson's club this season, pitching in his 41st game of the year. He's got that low arm slot, sinker, slider, changeup. A lot of sinkers to lefties. Jimenez will see that on the inner part.
Andres Jimenez has had a good night. An RBI double in the 3rd. Came in to score on the Guerrero base hit, then he walked in the 4th. So Ferrer is going to face 2 lefties, his first 2 batters, with Lucas on deck.
Good low ball hitter. This could be a decent matchup despite the left on left.
Grounded down to 3rd, picked nicely by Crawford. 1 down. Ferrer, a guy the Mariners got in an offseason deal with the Nationals the last 3 years in Washington. Nathan Lucas 0 for 2 with a sacrifice. So Nathan Lucas in the leadoff spot tonight. John Schneider's been asked a question here and there about when George Springer comes back from paternity leave, will Lucas stay in the leadoff spot against righties, given the way that Lucas is hitting the ball? And John Schneider would not commit one way or another, nor should he until they have those internal conversations. Obviously, he's not going to reveal anything publicly. We don't know exactly when Springer is coming back. Schneider said it could be this weekend, kind of day to day. He said everything with mom and baby is fine, but he's keeping in touch with Springer, it sounds like a couple of times a day, just on how things are going. So we'll see whether George comes here to Seattle or whether he maybe just meets up with the team in San Francisco on Monday. 2-1 the count on Lucas. That's in there. 2-2.
And the interesting thing with Lucas in that top spot against righties makes a lot of sense, of course. Lefties not so much because he hasn't handled lefties very well. But when he's at the top, you get late in a ball game like this, it's decision time because you've got a lefty on the mound, and when you have Lucas in the 2-hole, you're thinking the opposing manager's probably going to have a righty in the game to get the top right, and then he gets a righty, because if it's Springer or another right leading off, and then you've got Vladdy third, he's going to see more righties.
Strike 3 called. Lucas with a bit of an unhappy bat toss after that call. It did look like it might have been right on the corner. Nasty stuff at 98 from Ferrer.
And especially when it's on the outside edge at 98, so tough. But if Lucas is batting second between 2 righties, he'll see more lefties, and that's more beneficial to the club. The question is, who do you want leading off?
And who knows? And we don't know anything. They might go right back to Springer, but it could be Lucas against righties, Springer against lefties. Here's Guerrero, 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 3rd. You know, and another guy making things interesting in a very small sample size alert. But Sean Keyes is having great at bats, and I'm sure he is making quite a favorable impression. Not talking about him as a leadoff hitter, just about finding him at bats.
To be in the lineup, absolutely, against right-handers for sure.
Got a single and a double tonight, and the 1 out was a line out to the warning track and right.
It's great when things get crowded because guys are swinging the bat well. Managers don't mind those problems.
In there for a strike, and it's 3-1. Guerrero thought it was inside, but he doesn't challenge it. The Blue Jays have both of theirs remaining. The Mariners have been out since the 1st inning. And now it's ball 4. That one comes in just low. Even for a righty, this does not look like a comfortable at bat.
So often it's that arm angle too, and Ferrer working from mostly that first base side of the pitching rubber, and then that low arm angle. It's a steep angle for a right-handed batter where it's coming from.
Okamoto lifts one in the air to center. Fairly deep, but it's playable for Robles. Out number 3. 7th inning stretch here at T-Mobile Park. It is still 2-0 Blue Jays. Fans, 2027 full season ticket memberships are on sale now. Be here for every moment of the season and lock in postseason access exclusively with a season ticket membership. Don't miss out. Visit BlueJays.com/season tickets for more details. It has been a great outing thus far for Dylan Cease. You see the numbers. 87 pitches going into the 7th. Just 1 walk, 9 big strikeouts. Here's Cal Raleigh, a ground out and a strikeout, and in the 2nd at bat, that's what Cease did to Cal Raleigh. He overmatched him with fastballs up.
That pitch right there to the left-handed hitters of the Mariners has been a big pitch for Cease tonight. Not always in the zone, doesn't always have to be in the zone, but when he's pitching up like that, getting a lot of swings.
So this is the 3rd time in a row, Joe, and I'm excluding the last game because Braden Fisher opened and then they went miles. This is the 3rd time in a row with a traditional starter on the mound. They've gotten at least 6 innings out of it.
That's what they're after, right? It just takes that load off the bullpen and keeps them well rested day to day.
On the appeal, no swing. So after he started him with a swing and a miss on a fastball, 3 straight breaking balls to fall behind 3-1. And you saw Pete Walker was on the phone. They're going to get somebody up just to get loose out of the bullpen. Back to the heater, 3-2.
That's that spot again. And after the way things went on Canada Day, Fisher opening that game for Miles and Corbin, it was a total reset of the bullpen and then a day off. John Schneider's never had this luxury, I don't think, all season, to have every reliever pretty well down there rested and ready.
Three-two. Fly ball, very shallow left field. Sounded like a broken bat. Piñango calls off the infielders and makes the play. And remember, there had been some issues out there earlier in the year. Clearly, Piñango was louder, called him off, made the catch. All good. One down, and it's Jeff Hoffman up in the bullpen. Look at how close those fans are.
That's unbelievable. Literally overseeing him warming up in the bullpen.
Josh Naylor, 0 for 2 on a ground out and a fly out. Just 3 hits for the Mariners so far off Dylan Cease. Called strike, and it's 1-1. Meanwhile, in the Seattle pen, the right-hander is Michael Rucker, and the left-hander is Gabe Spire. Swung on it, missed. 2-2.
That is unfair to be able to throw a breaking pitch that sharp when, as a hitter, you're ahead of the count, really thinking fastball, but those days are over for hitters.
90-mile-an-hour slider down and in. Now the 2-2. Still throwing 98. About to throw his 100th pitch. This will be the 9th time this season Cease throws 100 or more pitches in a start. Little up and in, ball 3. That one almost came back.
Yep. It's that sinker. It will have that swing back action. Just didn't quite come enough.
So the 3-2. And this is golfed up way up on the infield. Okamoto comes in at third and makes the catch. 2 down.
Golfed was a very good description because it was a fastball down in the zone, and as a hitter, it's just a last split-second reaction to get to that pitch. Josh didn't get his best swing off and popped it up to Okamoto.
What an outing so far for Dylan Cease. 6 2/3. The batter is Luke Raley, who has struck out and lined out to center. Couple of shakes. Now has the one he wants from Kirk. Wanted the changeup.
Well, that is a very indecisive swing. It's almost like he's looking fastball to go up there, but then he recognized it's almost like he stopped, started, and started again. Not a great swing at a first pitch.
This is looped back of third. Okamoto goes back to get it. It's a 3-up, 3-down 7th, and it's an outstanding performance for Dylan Cease tonight. Time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie and Caleb. Fans, following the All-Star break, baseball returns to Rogers Center on Friday, July. Blue Jays will hit the field in their City Connect uniforms against the White Sox as the ballpark transforms into night mode. Visit BlueJays.com/tickets to secure your seats now. This is as Dylan Cease came off the mound after inning number 7. A 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the 7th, and just a job well done, and then some tonight. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. It was the best version of Dylan Cease tonight.
It was. He was all around the plate. I'm not even saying in the zone all of the time, but as long as you're around it, if you're Dylan Cease, you're going to get a lot of swings, and that fastball at the top of the zone really played in that regard.
New pitcher on the mound for the Mariners. You see right-hander Michael Rucker is facing Dalton Varsho here to begin the top of the 8th.
Rucker pitched for the Cubs parts of 21, 22, and 23, and just his 8th game with the Mariners was just called up a few weeks ago.
And again, they only have a 7-man bullpen because they've got 6 starters right now, and they've got some, some really good guys down at the end of the pen. Munoz, although he's not having as good of a year, still a very good closer. The 2 lefties, Bizzardo, who Blue Jay fans remember, that was the guy who gave up the home run to Springer. But they're 5, 6, 7 guys, a little more unproven. The numbers aren't there, and it's not locked down like top to bottom out of the Seattle bullpen. 2-2 on Varsho, and he hits it to center field. Boy, at night in this ballpark to that part of the ballpark, nothing's going anywhere right now.
As soon as he hit it, I'm thinking that ball is going nowhere. We've seen a lot of fly balls just kind of drift out there, and some balls that we think have been pretty well hit.
So 1 down for Alejandro Kirk. Kirk 0 for 3, 2 ground outs and a line out to center. Clement, a couple of spots away if it gets that far here in the 8th inning. Luis Urias and Andres Jimenez. Jimenez has had a good night. Scored one of the runs, drove in the other. Nice defensive play to start a double play as well. Three and 1 on Kirk. Takes one right down the middle. 3 and 2.
Almost looked like Alejandro was taking all the way. That was a good one to hit. Sometimes a hitter's timing can be messed up when the pitcher comes set. Maybe something was just off there where he didn't want to pull the trigger. But that's what hitters looking for. 3-1.
Lines it to center, but it's going to carry out to Robles.
It's a good swing by Alejandro. That's where you want to see him. He's bounced out to the shortstop twice tonight. Last time he flied to center, this one hits on a line to center. Looks like he's trying to make an adjustment, getting the ball in the air a little bit and staying in the middle of the field. Looked better his last 2 at-bats.
So 2 down. Here's Yohendrick Pinango. Went 0 for 3 against Luis Castillo.
I don't think we've ever seen eyes wander so much in the game now. We had a good look there of Pinango. He's looking at the pitch clock, knowing he's got to look at the pitcher at 8. And then the pitcher's getting a sign from the catcher. He looks at the pitch clock to make sure he knows when he has to deliver. Both the hitter and the pitcher can see the clocks from where they are, from their vantage points, but they're always peeking to make sure they stay on time.
I mean, hitter, pitcher, catcher, umpire, everybody's got a lot more to look at and think about. And timeout was granted. So the hitter can ask for timeout. He can't call timeout. It's got to be granted by the home plate umpire. You see Miles Straw's got a helmet on. He's going to get in this ball game one way or another soon. Boy, that's late.
But Pinango took his hand off the bat and said, "Time, you can't do that. You have to say it verbally. Be ready to hit in case you don't get it."
You saw Straw with a helmet on, and Pinango gets on. Straw's going to run for him.
People are saying, "How do you know that, Dan?"
He's fast, and they want him in there for defense because they're leading.
2 good reasons.
Yeah, 3 and 2.
I guess the third one would be you've seen a lot of John Schneider managed games. Kind of got him figured out, eh?
We have a bit of a feel for the playbook.
It's a really good playbook when you have a lead into the later innings. It just changes everything for a manager. He can deploy his relievers in the order that he wants. He can set up his defense. When you're playing from behind, it's just a lot of catch-up.
Another foul off by Pinyango. And yet another. 8 pitches and counting. When he's on and when he's locked in, we've seen this, and then eventually you hope he squares one up, hits a line drive somewhere. Has not been as productive lately. Four straight foul balls. What a night for Dylan Cease.
Well, he talked a lot about some mechanical tweaks. It looks like the ones he made paid off.
At times it was overpowering, but at times it was the pitch mix. It was kind of the best of both versions of Dylan Cease.
Yeah, and I think as long as everything is around the zone, again, I don't think he's necessarily a guy that has to be in the zone totally, because that might be a lot to ask from him with his stuff. But as long as he's in and around it, you get a lot of those swings.
Here comes pitch number 11. And he lines it into right for a base hit.
That's the liner you asked for.
There it is. Big time AB there from Pinyango. And now here comes Straw.
Just a great at-bat by Pinyango. He gets a fastball middle in, and he just got the barrel out. That's going to be his strength, more middle in, and he got something he could handle.
Good job by Pinyango. A 2-out base hit and a man on for Ernie Clement. After that long at bat, now Cal Raleigh's going to go out to the mound to give Michael Rucker a bit of a breather. Straw the pinch runner, Clement the batter. Ernie is 1 for 3 on the night. My mistake, 0 for 3, reached on the error charged to Cole Young out at second last time, so 0 for 3. What a nice night. Day games the next 2 days. A 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 local start tomorrow, and a little bit later, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 local on Sunday. Straw the lead at first. Not going, and Clement checks the swing. They appeal down to first, didn't go, and it's ball 1. Again, Crawford is in at third.
Very strange.
Yeah,
I'm not sure where they're getting that information.
Ernie is not a big bunt for a base hit guy, and in this situation, he wants to hit a line drive right by Crawford.
Yep.
Taps it out to short. He won't be happy with that one. Kind of a half swing for out number 3. And it's on to the bottom of the 8th. Jeff Hoffman coming in. And you're watching Friday Night Blue Jays baseball presented by McCain. Well, we mentioned the Blue Jays are playing kind of late afternoon games Eastern time here in Seattle over the weekend. If you're looking for more earlier Sunday, the Braves and the Mets, you can see that game on Sunday on Sportsnet. 2-0 going to the bottom of the 8th inning here in Seattle. Another beautiful shot. And I think what John Schneider would tell you was a beautiful outing from Dylan Cease.
Anytime you get 7 innings from Dylan Cease, I think you can assume that it went pretty well. Just three hits, but 1 walk on 9 strikeouts. He can give you 100 pitches any day of the week. Went 7 innings, 3 consecutive starts to begin the month of May. Hadn't done that since, and so that's a big one tonight.
Jeff Hoffman will come in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 7, 8, 9 hitters in the Seattle lineup are coming up. This is Cole Young. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Straw remains in the game and left after pinch running for Piñango. Ground ball out to second. Nice big hop for Ernie Clement. One down. You know, the last time that Jeff Hoffman was facing Seattle, he struck out Julio Rodriguez to end Game 7 of the American League Championship Series and send the Blue Jays to the World Series. And in that ALCS, Jeff Hoffman pitched 4 times, a total of 5 innings. Gave up 1 hit, no runs, and struck out 10. This is outside ball 1 to Victor Robles, who clearly was taking all the way. Out of play, and it's 1-1. Nick Davila, another right-hander, is up in the Mariners' pen. Went around 1-2. Good spot for that slider.
That is his bread and butter. Used back-to-back splitters to get the left-handed hitting Young in the first at-bat of this inning, but those sliders against the righties.
Right back to it, but no chase here. It's 2-2. Trey Savage is going to start the Sunday game. Kevin Gausman won't start till the Blue Jays get to San Francisco. On the appeal, no swing, says Quinn Wolcott down at first, and it's a full count.
Well, they know that spin can be a real challenge for Robles. They're trying to get him to chase. He just won't go far enough.
Look at him choking up on the bat. Ball is outside. It's ball 4. Down to Hazel.
Dan, Hoffman credits his recent turnaround to 2 things. 1, better usage in his arsenal, so throwing the right amount of each pitch. And 2, he's not throwing a lot of fastballs, something he rarely did in Philadelphia. He said he threw a majority of sliders in both his seasons there. So he's going back to the way he pitched. He's more comfortable and more slider dominant, guys.
Hazel, thank you. You can definitely see that when you look at his game-by-game results, especially the slider, even more so to the righties. That was a splitter right there, and he will throw the splitter a lot to lefties. Doesn't shy away from the slider against lefties, but to Hazel's point, definitely using that slider more in recent weeks. This is the number 9 hitter, Colt Emerson. And it's 1-1.
Just wonder how long it'll take for Robles to take off with Hoffman on the mound. You know, Jeff's continued to try to be a little quicker to the plate, abbreviate his delivery.
One on, one out. This is the tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 8th. Robles has good speed, not going. And that's ball 2. Louis Varland has not started to throw, but he's got that weighted ball, which he throws into the wall every now and again. That's kind of his pre-throwing routine. So he's been told, don't get up, but get ready to get up in case the phone rings. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Went to the slider that time, not quite having that feel for the splitter.
And Emerson does well to get a piece of it and stay alive. That slider was down around the shoe tops almost. Not even 21 years old, this guy.
Amazing.
A lot of room up that third baseline. Okamoto is well off the line. They expect Emerson to pull the ball on the ground. The 2-2 again, and that's high. Ball 3. Top of the order, J.P. Crawford on deck. And the Mariners fans getting a little bit louder here. Robles the lead. He's not going, and it is swung on and missed. Hoffman gets him for out number 2.
He went back to the splitter, and he may have thrown his best one. I'm sure this is looking like a fastball the whole way to Emerson. It just dove down under the barrel.
And the effect a splitter can have is similar to a changeup,
Yep,
right? Getting
absolutely.
a guy out in front. Pete Walker back on the phone. J.P. Crawford in the box. 2 down now. Down and in, blocked by Kirk. Ball 1.
Alejandro will use that with his glove, just reaching out and trying to cut the distance down between his catcher's mitt and the ball.
And now Louis Varland has gotten up. I asked him back in Toronto, how many pitches do you need when the serious phone call comes? He said, I'll take as many as 15, but I can get it done in 8. He said, I can get ready in 8 out in the bullpen. He gets 8 more on the mound when he comes in. So
that's what you always have to take into account.
Right.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's, like DEFCON 1, DEFCON 2, like, different levels of urgency when the phone rings. Challenge. First thing, they appeal. Kirk was going to challenge, but they appeal. And they said he went around, so they don't need to use a challenge. It's 1-2.
Interesting from Kirk's perspective, too. You're thinking where you're receiving the pitch, that's your priority. But the check swing went a little too far.
But you've got to challenge right away, right? So you can't ask for the appeal and then say, no, now I want to challenge. So I think he did everything exactly as he had to do it. 2-0 Blue Jays here as Hoffman tries to get Crawford and finish things off in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-2 pitch. Up and away. 2-2. Varland continues to work in the bullpen. Hoffman gets the sign from Kirk. And the pitch. Chopped it foul. The at-bat resumes. Another 2-2 pitch on the way. That is low, and it's 3-2.
Said earlier in the night, hard to get Crawford to expand the zone. You may have to get him out in the zone.
Robles will be on the move. Guerrero's backed up, plays behind him, and the 3-2 fouled off. He tried with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but Crawford fought it off. A lot of pitches here this inning for Hoffman. Varland should be ready, one would think. He's been up a while now. Again, Robles will be on the move. And the 3-2, he got him! Went back to the slider, gets a swing and a miss, and a couple of big strikeouts to end the bottom of the 8th. Jeff Hoffman, 3 big outs, and it's still 2-0 Blue Jays. Well, as you may have heard today, Kazuma Okamoto was just named the American League Rookie of the Month for June. On Monday, July 20th, The first 15,000 fans of the ballpark will take home a Kazuma Okamoto t-shirt. Secure your tickets at BlueJays.com/promotions. 2 runs in the top of the third for the Blue Jays, and that is all the scoring tonight. I guess we shouldn't be surprised. It's a low-scoring game. Pitchers Park, evening game. 2 teams that pitch better than they hit. 2-0 going to the top of the 9th inning, and the 4th pitcher of the night for the Mariners, right-hander Nick Davila, facing Sean Keys. And if you're just joining us, Keys has had a good night. Singled and scored in the 3rd, doubled in the 4th, and then lined out to the warning track in the 6th. 0-2 here. I would imagine day by day, the heart rate's coming down a little bit, the game's slowing down a little bit.
Good test right here. We talked about that at bat earlier when he doubled, just really seeing the ball well, staying back really well, and that's what allowed him to do it right there. And this is a good test too because Davila throws a lot of sliders.
Just high. Not a piece.
All sliders so far to the left-handed hitter, and he'll just move it around a little bit, but you can see that he's trying to see it deep. He will mix in a 4-seamer or a sinker, but lots of spin. Ouch.
Damon Estrada looking on, seeing if Keys needs a little bit of help, but a thumbs up from the rookie.
Slider just keeps coming in on you as a left-handed batter, and a lot of times you're going to catch the top of the ball right into his left knee area,
Back knee.
quad area. Yeah, that's because that slider's really bearing in on him deep.
Remember, Keys finished last year at High Able, just a couple of hours north of here in Vancouver. Then tore up Double-A at the beginning of this year, went up to Triple-A for 3 weeks, tore it up there, and now he is in the big leagues and handling himself very well so far in his first week as a big leaguer. And it looks like, including tonight, 9 games until the All-Star break, a righty on the mound as the opposing starter 8 of those 9 games. He may get a really good chance to play here. Ground ball down to first. Naylor has it. He'll cover. So 2 for 4 on the night now for Keys. And that'll bring up Andres Jimenez. An RBI double in the 3rd. Jimenez drove in the first run of the night for the Blue Jays. They strung some hits together against Luis Castillo. Single, double, sacrifice, single, single. That's how they got their 2 runs.
I think Jimenez got the memo. He saw all the sliders to Keys. It's no secret what Davila's approach is against left-handed hitters.
Swing and a miss at that one, 1-2. Another one up and away, 2-2.
You know it's coming. It's just a matter of where he's going to put it. He'll try to backdoor you on the outside. He'll try to come down and in like he did when that Keys fouled that one off his leg.
A one-hopper out to second. Up with it Young and on to first for out number 2. Bottom of the 9th, the Mariners are going to send up their 2, 3, 4 hitters. Randy Arozarena, Dominic Canzone, and then Cal Raleigh. And Louis Varland is getting ready for it. Here's Nathan Lucas, 0 for 3 with a sacrifice. Another ground ball. Young drops it, finds it, and finds Naylor in time for the third out. So it's on to the bottom of the ninth. Louis Varland on his way in to try to protect a 2-run lead. Next game in this series comes your way tomorrow afternoon. Our coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern time or 12:30 Pacific time. It's Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. Shane Bieber will make his third start of the season. He'll be on the mound for the Blue Jays. A low-scoring affair here tonight with thousands and thousands of Canadians here in Seattle to root on the Blue Jays, and they are up 2-0. Dylan Cease outstanding for 7 innings tonight. Jeff Hoffman worked the 8th, and now here's Louis Varland trying to nail it down.
Louis secured his 17th save of the season on Monday against the Mets. That's good for 4th in the American League, going for number 18 right here.
And he'll drill a strike into Randy Arozarena. Arozarena 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Knocked down by Guerrero, and he'll make the play himself. Kept it close, found it, 1 down.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has been playing some outstanding first base despite his offensive struggles, and he'll just try to knock this ball down. It was almost like a catcher. Just try to keep it in front, knowing that you can recover with the Arozarena coming down the line. That is a big out to lead off this 9th inning in a tight ball game.
1 down. And the batter now, Dominic Canzone, 0 for 3. That's at the knees for a called strike, and it's 0-1.
Now, isn't that where the challenges come into play?
Yeah.
And Arozarena lost the challenges in the first inning. This is why you want them late in a tight ball game. That ball probably down a hair.
Bounces one in. It's even at 1-1. You can hear which fan base is starting to get a little bit noisier here in the 9th inning. And I think it's always very playful and respectful between the two fan bases here. But right now it's the Blue Jay fans making their voices heard.
The Blue Jays fans are seeing a well-rested Louis Varland right here.
Outside, 2-2.
Louis touching triple digits with the fastball.
He's had 3 days off. That just hasn't happened many times this season. On the appeal, did not go, and it's ball 3. Line drive to right field, and it's down for a base hit. A good at bat by Canzone, and the Mariners are going to bring the tying run to the plate. Canzone is going to leave for a pinch runner. Weston Wilson is in to run for him, and it's going to be Cal Raleigh coming up. So Wilson running and Raleigh coming up as the potential tying run. The Mariner fans keeping the faith. Raleigh 0 for 3 tonight. a 160 hitter on the season. Chased it, and it's 0-1.
Such a good curveball from Louis, especially first pitch. You've got a hitter up there probably looking for the triple digits fastball.
Close, but no, and it's 1-1. Remember, the Blue Jays have both challenges remaining, so if Alejandro Kirk even thinks it's maybe a 50-50 shot, he is likely to try. The 1-1. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. Raleigh didn't like it, but they don't have any challenges.
Alejandro Kirk handles the bottom of the zone so well. Such a close call. Cal Raleigh is a catcher himself. And the trick here is that it was a higher target by Kirk, and I think he wanted that ball elevated. When you throw 100 at the bottom, that's tough to get down there and pull it up and make it look good. He gets the call.
And it looked like it might have been half an inch low or something like that, but again, nothing Raleigh could do about it other than voice his displeasure. The 1-2 pitch, and now he gets him with the elevated fastball for out number 2.
That's where he wanted the one before. He missed down. He didn't miss down that time. Climb that ladder. Raleigh has been swinging at that high fastball all night. Stick to it.
2 outs here in the 9th inning. The batter is Josh Naylor. And that's low, ball 1. Two 2-0 on Naylor. Folks at the ballpark are trying to drown out the Blue Jays fans with noise from the scoreboard. I can't say as I blame them. It's their park. But Blue Jay fans are noisy now. Yes, he did. And it's 2-1. A wild swing at a curveball.
That's a wild 2-0 pitch to throw a curveball like that.
He's so much more unpredictable than he was a year ago.
I think that's the biggest difference. That and staying away from the middle of the plate.
Rounded up the middle. Jimenez is there, and that's your ball game. Louis Varland picks up another save. An outstanding performance by Dylan Cease. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Andres Jimenez drive in the runs, and the Blue Jays take the opening game of the series by a score of 2-0.
This Blue Jays starting rotation is looking like they're getting in sync. Dylan Cease was outstanding tonight, putting up zeros for 7 innings, and the offense did just enough. That's all you need when you get an outstanding pitching performance. Hoffman and Varland lock it down.
A nice way to open up a series and a long road trip for the Blue Jays. They've now won 2 in a row, 42-46 on the season. And it is time now for Sportsnet Central, presented by KFC.